185 Miles South, a hardcore punk rock podcast.
What's up, everyone? We're doing another bonus pod. I got Daniel Sant from Over My Dead Body back on the line. And basically, during this time of the COVID-19 stuff that we're all going through, we are hoping that we can come out of it and basically go back to normal. But in order for that to happen, we got to think about some of the businesses that are possibly suffering right now. And so that's what I wanted to focus this podcast on. You know, everyone that listens to this podcast knows that I'm from Oxnard. But I've moved down to San Diego almost 14 years ago. And so this is my home now. And I wanted to choose a handful of my favorite businesses here in San Diego and highlight them and reach out to them and see what we can possibly do to support them during these hard times. And I would ask that anyone that listens to this podcast in San Diego go out and support these businesses. And also, no matter where you're listening to this pod, think about your favorite businesses in your hometown. And, you know, when we come out of this, we want to, like, kind of go back to normal. And so think about the ways that you can possibly support them in this time if you can. You know, these are hard times for everyone. But if you have a little extra means to try to help someone out, it's something to think about doing. And it'll make you feel good. I'll bring in Daniel now.
Yeah, just show your hometown fucking pride.
That's right.
No, but for real, like, this, we all remember how fast this came upon us, like, especially up in the Bay. Like, it was so fast. Like, we heard, you know, oh yeah, there's all this, you know, people have been laughing about coronavirus while it was happening in China, like making jokes on TV and all of this stuff. And then literally when a couple of cases started popping up in the US, like, Governor Newsom, like, and the mayor of SF were just like, close it down. And it happened overnight, and all, like, tons of people got displaced. And then 2 weeks later, it happened in San Diego overnight. Boom, shelter in place. These people, you know, most of us live paycheck to paycheck because that's the way, you know, if you're not in a certain tax bracket, you're living paycheck to paycheck. And when that faucet gets turned off on you, like, the people who have the ability to help the people that don't, that's what really makes us a community. And I think this is awesome that you're shedding light on this. And I think it's awesome to ask everybody to think about their own hometown.
Yeah. And so you tie in nicely to this first business that we're going to talk about, Daniel. And you actually hooked me up with the gentleman that I interviewed. And so we're going to talk about the Whistle Stop. And this is a bar in South Park. And you actually DJ here. You in better times DJ here every third Friday.
Yep. Yeah. A Britpop night there called "Fucking in the Bushes." Our good friend Rob does a hip hop night called "Booty Basement." It's a really cool. You know, I'm straight edge, and I think it's a very cool bar. And then on top of it, they do lots of live shows too, and it's run by just San Diego people and employs just great San Diego people, and it deserves, you know, they've got a little digital tip jar going, and if anyone can, you know, that likes to go out to these nights, you know, throw the employees that have been completely displaced during this $5, $10, $20 if you can afford it, that would be amazing.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get on to my interview with the Whistle Stop. All right, I have Drew. He's the manager and a bartender at the Whistle Stop, as well as a local musician. And yeah, you're on Sub Pop, right?
No, I used to play in a band called The Album Leaf, and that band was on Sub Pop.
Okay.
Records. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, shout out Sub Pop, old school.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So the purpose of this pod is we just chose some of our favorite local businesses and wanted to talk about how you're doing during, like, the COVID-19 shutdown and so forth. But
Yep.
let's back up a little bit and just say what the Whistle Stop is and what you guys are best known for.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think Whistle Stop's known for being a place where you can sort of like, let the freak flag fly a little bit. That's probably the most universal way to describe it. We do quite a bit of things where on the weekends, kind of a raging, dance culture every Saturday night. We have, kind of a line around the block we've established for a few different nights. Booty Basement, we're known for that quite a bit around town. It's a popular dance night, as well as our 80s and 90s night we have. So we do kind of a full-scale club situation on the Saturday nights, but far beyond that, we do, we have one of the city's top literary gatherings, also with a line outside. We have a capacity of about 204 and crammed full of people in there to hear narrative storytelling. We have a comedy night that's been quite successful. The comics you recognize from Netflix specials and things like that. We have a night called Sketch Party where we do big paper tarps are kind of laid out and people just get together with pens and gather to create new zines and start sketching together for new artworks. And we do a lot of interesting culture things at the Whistle Stop, and I think that's what we're known for, as being for lack of a better term, a culture bar or a culture hub, I guess. Mm-hmm. So it's not just a place to sort of throw down some suds, which is kind of the business, but we really go deep into the arts quite a bit, and our owner has been into it for a long time, and I myself have been there for 13 years, so I'm a big fan of the place.
Yeah, that rules. Plus, you facilitate Dan Sant coming down once a month.
We do that. Yeah, he comes down. He does. Fucking in the bushes is what he does. Yep. And it's his Britpop night. He's been doing it for years and years and years. And it's always part of the eclectic mix of things that we do. So it's a successful night that he runs, and super good guy.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Drew, your story is kind of unique during this time because you actually contracted and beat COVID, correct?
Yeah. Yes. It's quite thankfully, actually.
Okay. Can you talk through the process? Like how do you think you came in contact with it?
I've spent a lot of time racking my mind to try to think where I could have contracted it from. And I've come to the sort of conclusion, due to the way the world is and everything that we're going through, that I kind of feel like in some way it's some bit of a fool's errand to try to figure out where you got it from. I mean, in a sense of the CDC's, or
sure.
The need to track it down and kind of source it. I think that's obviously great wisdom, but I don't know where it was from. I came down with it. The bar had been closed on Sunday the 15th. I believe it was the 15th. It was the governor's order, Governor Newsom's order to shut down all non-essential businesses, which Whistle Stop, we are not a food-related bar. We're just, a regular bar, I guess, or whatever. So without food, we weren't allowed to stay open. So we shut then. And it wasn't until a full week later that I started to manifest symptoms. So I could have gotten it, I don't know, maybe from someone on one of those last days, the last week before at the bar. It could have been possible.
Yeah, I mean, they say up to 14 days, but they're kind of thinking that generally you get it within 5.
Yeah, and that's what I keep hearing as well too. And I've could have got it from grocery shopping. I went out to get my supplies just like everybody else, and at the time I wasn't wearing a mask, which I'm really glad that the push has been made for that now, because in the middle of it, that was one of my main things I recommended, was people should be wearing masks out there, because I probably got it from just being out in public at a store, I think.
Yeah, well, we've gotten such poor information from the beginning. In the beginning, they were saying not to wear a mask.
Yeah, it's insane, and then you look at the curves and the numbers of I was lucky with Album Leaf to go to various countries around Asia and do tours. And I was always struck by seeing, the populace so embrace wearing masks in public. Like it was like in America, you just wouldn't see that. It seems so foreign, right? It's strange, but I think that they had some success with the spread of it due to the fact that was already kind of a cultural norm built in some various nations. And I think that was definitely a help. And we probably could have really used that. So I think that's a silver lining now, is that you'll see people maybe rocking that kind of look now more common, and it's probably healthier. So
yeah, I went to Vaughn's over the weekend, and they weren't letting you into the store if you weren't wearing a mask.
See, yeah,
So.
I mean, I really think that personally, when I think about it, I think that's probably where I kind of acquired it from. I did see a couple of sick people in those early days before I came down with things, and maybe I just don't know. So I think the larger point is all of us being vigilant and kind of in this weird ether world of, no work, and for a lot of people, for myself at least, and just keeping vigilant and staying in as much as you can and making those kind of, marauder runs when you need to go out there, but to be really kind of vigilant about just don't go out every day and potentially bring it back into your home. So.
Yeah. So,
or take it around to other people and other places too. So
no, I know. I mean, that's a terrifying too, right? Is it a terrifying thing as well? Is that they think that maybe 30% of people are completely asymptomatic, so you could feel great and have it and be spreading it to everyone.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's certainly, my experience was, I've so much of that early colloquial stuff was, it's just like the flu,
right?
And it's really not just like the flu. So,
okay, so let's jump into that. So what symptoms did you start feeling?
I had it start with the kind of, losing my sense of smell and taste. I was just making some soup on a Sunday night, and literally in the middle of it, it was like it was shrinking away, and then it was just gone. I couldn't smell anything, and it seemed odd. I had never heard about that, so I looked online for, Googled in coronavirus and loss of taste, smell, and there had just been some articles that had been coming out within like 48 hours before that. On New York Times, Time Magazine was reporting on it. This was a new symptom that people were reporting on. So, yeah, that was how it was for me, and I lost it then. The next day I had a fever. Stayed around between, 100 to 102.5 was the highest I measured it. And that stayed for 9 days. And I had aches. I tried to do some push-ups and try to lean into the unemployment, get the figure up or something like that, and keep the health up. And when I got up, and Tuesday too, I was like just barely getting out of bed, like rocked. I thought it was just from that still, from working out, because, maybe I'm just a rookie. Sure. And so, but it turns out that was, the body's maybe some of that, but really I was getting the aches. I started on Wednesday, I started feeling enough of the symptoms and things, and I was feeling really like super lethargic, getting really, really drained really easily. And I was starting to kind of lose some focus and thoughts when I was putting thoughts together. And I guess that's kind of a common thing for me, but it seemed like more than normal. And called my doctor Wednesday, and they kind of pushed me through from a triage nurse on the phone to another person to the doctor. And what they told me then was that they thought that I had a pretty good shot at having this, but there wasn't really testing. And so I had to just sort of take Tylenol, sleep, try to get the fever down, and wait it out and call if I can't breathe, basically, was how they started that
Jesus
process.
Christ.
Yeah. And that's what's really crazy is that, how do I say it? I understand it in a way, which is horrifying to say. The volume of it is so vast that and the testing is so nil, that's really kind of the best they can do right now, or at least it was back when I first got it, which is now, that was the 25th that I got. 26th, the morning of the 26th of March was when I got my test. So anyway, somehow they changed their mind and called me Thursday. They sent me a message saying, "Hey, we think you should come in and test, actually." So they whipped me into this. It was at Grossmont Hospital, Sharp Grossmont Hospital here in San Diego and La Mesa. It's where I was born, actually. And they kind of called me, and they had this whole thing where you go in and it's like a drive up or drive through clinic. And I pulled my car in. I had to call ahead, and like they had to meet me with my make and model of my car and all of that, because they didn't want to. Excuse me. They didn't want to just have me roll up and potentially spread contagion around. So they pull up, they come up, they gave me a mask, and they told me to pull into a stall. It was like the doctor's parking, which I thought, that's rich, here's the doctor's parking. They had to give it up, but it's nice to see that was the spot that they did it at, actually. I know, strange irony. And so they came in, they were all really cool. The guy gave me one swab for a flu, just to see. They wanted to check to see if I just had the flu first, and that result was like 15 minutes or so, or an hour for me. And if I tested negative on the flu, it was likely that I had COVID. And so they gave me the flu swab and the COVID swab, which was pretty brutal, I got to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting it, but it was a long, swab that they put through your nostril, and they thread it down to kind of the back of your throat and back. Oh, so that's a little distance to go through, and I wasn't expecting it, which was probably better. And now, unfortunately, I probably freaked out listeners about that. But anyway, but it has to get done, and they did it, and the test came back about a day and a half later for me, and it was positive. So a little side note on that too was, I told Daniel this, he was doing a fundraiser for Whistle Stop, and it was a live DJ set, and for Fucking the Bushes. And when he did it, it was really awesome to watch, because everyone kind of rallied around it. There's all these friends I saw online, blowing it up with the hearts and stuff on Instagram Live, and it was just a really fun time. And the music was great, and it was like this little community. And for me, what I was doing during that time was I hadn't got my results back yet, but I was in my room cleaning with headphones on, listening to the whole DJ set he was doing while I was sanitizing and cleaning down and setting up my quarantine room. Right. And so I got the call right after. I had this great shot of like the culture and community, and then right as soon as that was done, I got a phone call from the doctor saying that I had tested positive. So it's interesting, a little connection there between this, the connection of knowing Daniel, and all that means what the Whistle Stop was. That was my last moment of community I kind of had for a while that was really like positive, and I think that kind of helped me guide through into the coming phase of what became my quarantine for the next 9 days. So
okay, so this is Friday, so it's on your 6th day that you test positive.
That's right. So I had symptoms start on the Sunday, and I didn't get the test until
Thursday, and then
I called Wednesday, and then I got tested Thursday, and then I did get it. Yeah, Friday afternoon, evening, I got the phone call.
Okay. And then, so what happens from there? So now you quarantine?
Yeah, and I was already, once I got the test, I was already in like quarantine at that point, just to wait it out, because that's the safe thing to do. And it turns out that it was correct to do that. And so, yeah,
and just to jump in real quick, if it's not too personal, what's your living situation? Do you live with other people, or do you live alone?
Yeah, I'm married, and my wife she's a student who's actually supposed to be graduating actually in a month or two here, and she's been studying at home the whole time, so she's already kind of in a weird way quarantined inside the house anyway, because she just studies all the time. And so the good news on that is that she's shown no signs of illness from this, so she's been good in the whole situation. Obviously, for people, everyone's main concern is their partner or significant other or family or someone they live with. Like no one wants to pass it on to anyone. So I'm fortunate also that she has not seemed to show any kind of symptoms. We're still, I guess, technically to be really safest, she probably has another week or a little less than a week to see if she's, develop symptoms. But no, so that's all good.
Cool. So
yeah, so she kind of, was sort of a prison system, I suppose, in a way where it's just for like, knock on the door, here's your rations, walk away, open the door, take it in, with my mask, so I wasn't spreading anything into the home. I have a cat who's a real dictator, and he's always scratching the door, wants to spend time with me, and I had to, tell him to go away for 9 days, and that didn't go so well.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, then that's what it is. I was lucky enough to have a bedroom. We have a guest room, actually, and I was lucky enough that has a bathroom that's attached to it. So I was in a very ideal situation where I really did lock off things.
It would be a nightmare to have a partner and just one bathroom, to think about being that sick and having to use the restroom and then having to completely sanitize it after for someone.
Yes. I really do think that would be a nightmare. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
I agree.
What was the peak of you feeling terrible?
Oh man. Yeah, it's rough. That was a rough time. It was right around, I guess, so let me see. It's Friday. I guess it was around, I should probably know off the top of my head. I think it was around Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, around that window. That's when the breathing kind of got difficult to do. And that's really the frightening shit. I've tried to say that, you've been sick before. Everyone's been sick with the flu, and so, sort of like this linear progression of symptoms, and, it does this and this and this. And the COVID is sort of like a lack of a better term, like an iPod on shuffle or something. It's the symptoms go in and out, they come and go. And when I got mine developed on the breathing front, some people get that right up front. That's one of the first things that happens. They just get, they can't breathe. But when you have the flu or any kind of phlegm promoting sort of illness, it's kind of this gross, shit that you get out of you, and what that looks like, and right. And so, but I didn't have any way to get it out. It wasn't something that was wet and loose and, like phlegm and shit that you would hack up. It was in me, in my head, but it was like solidifying. And that's the thing about this, is that with COVID-19, that's the killer, is if you're producing mucus, your body is, it's really the worst thing, because the COVID hardens it and that blocks your air passageways, which is why everyone's on the ventilators when they get it so bad, is to try to like get through that blockage, because it's seizing up in that way. So I had that happen a couple times, and I had a friend, her name was Casey. She was the first person I knew who got this, and she was a good guide for me in a lot of ways to help with, some thoughts. So she had suggested, like, take a steam shower, hot liquids are a must, lemon and anything you can that would just break down phlegm and mucus, like get that going, and sing as well. So I would sing Chet Baker songs is what I would sing in the shower, and just try to like sing it through and get that away. And that was the most terrifying part, because it never did develop for me. I was incredibly lucky that it never developed to the point where I had to go to the hospital. But if I would have, that would have been the time. And when you're in it, you don't know what's coming next. Right. And I think especially with the lack of information that's been out there, and sort of like a lack of people to sort of chart the way on what this process can look like, it's been especially tough in that way, I think, for people to know what to expect or not. So I was literally just blind, going, I don't know, maybe this means tomorrow I'm going to have to go in the hospital. And one day, one of the only days that I've ordered some food and stuff was a pizza place in town that, I was feeling good enough to eat. So I thought, let's order a pizza. And I ate this pizza, which was delicious, but it had the cheese in it, right? And so because of that, it created this swell of mucus formation pretty quick. And that really started blocking up my passageways, just eating the food and doing that. And that really terrified me. I knew immediately I'd made a huge mistake. So, that I learned that lesson. So I cut dairy out entirely at that point as well, which, was a good idea. And yeah, man, so that was the most terrifying stuff. The breathing part is the thing. You can feel disoriented and you can feel like shit. You could have fever dreams. All those things are things you can feel and process, but the breathing is the terrifying shit. So
yeah. And when do you start just kind of feeling like you're on the mend?
So then by Friday I was feeling pretty good. I think it was on Thursday. I think it was started on Wednesday, later on Wednesday, that my fever started to go down. And that's the thing. One of the CDC's guidelines is, it's basically like a 3 days of no fever window. That's how without taking Tylenol. Let's say, so your fever starts going down, you stop taking Tylenol. If your fever can stay down for 3 days, that's a really good sign that you're beating the thing and that you're getting through to the other side. So with that information, I got called by a county of health official, and they cleared me for a quarantine release date of the 4th of April, actually, which was, so I started feeling better on Thursday, and that was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday was when I was cleared to be out, at least in my home. So yeah, I was out on April 4th and feeling considerably better on that Saturday. I felt like, man, I feel like I just didn't have anything go on. Like I was no symptoms. I felt great. And so it was pretty on the point, according to the CDC guidelines of where I felt along with what they say you should feel. So that was an awesome feeling, man, to feel like I had actually made it to the other side of it.
Terrifying.
And there's a lot of like anecdotes out there. I've heard people say that they had a second wave of it, that there's like this second bout. But I haven't had anything like that now, and it's been, I guess a full week for me out. So I've been at the house and enjoying being alive, dude.
Yeah,
really,
that rules.
so.
That rules. I know. Yeah. It's unfortunate that there is kind of that rumor out there that there's a second strain or you could possibly get it again, because you deserve to walk around and feel like Superman after beating it, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's the antibodies and stuff, and I've been doing a bunch of research on donations, and I mean that's a whole interesting process as well too, dude. That's I'm learning a lot about, and I still don't qualify to give blood for one more week due to how how people's bodies are responsive to. I guess it's the creation of antibodies start becoming peak after 2 weeks, and so they don't want anyone to give donations until that point. But I had the real tragic situation already of someone who had heard my story, and someone had reached out to me to try to donate to someone whose husband was 35 in critical condition it's in critical condition, and they're looking desperately for a donor, and I didn't qualify and I couldn't help. And it was a really just one more sobering reminder of this whole situation. I'm out, I'm like out, quote unquote out, and I'm well feeling. And it seems like I go back to somewhat of a normal life in this weird time. And I start filling out unemployment paperwork and making sure this bill's paid and whatever, and going through the normal stuff and dishes and the whole nine, a domestic life. Mm-hmm. And then I get this phone call from someone who's looking for me to be a donor right away, and I can't do it. And she's looking for someone. I think some people feel like I was one of the people, what they would think of the first wave of people like, oh shit, we know someone now who's got this. It's not just an abstract, right?
Sure.
But the thing is, wasn't even the first wave. There were people before me that I got this from someone, right?
Absolutely.
And those people who got it before, they don't have as many tests and verifications for them being sick. So the people who are in critical condition now are looking for donors from that time window, and there's so few people. So it's really tough right now because people who are in critical can't find donors because there wasn't enough documentation. And even one more week, man, even one more week of this would have saved. I heard something that the World Health Organization, if they hadn't kicked around for a week on this, they would have stopped 95% of cases. 95%, 1 week.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's staggering to it really is. The whole thing is staggering in every single way. And, to see my friends be out of work, family to me and stuff. And it's just crazy times, man. And, it hits home to me to hear from someone who was so in need and not be able to help. And it really motivated me now I started filling out paperwork ahead of time to Red Cross and other places, so I can get ready to donate as soon as I can and help in that way. But even then, there's only so much blood and plasma you're legally allowed to donate in a certain amount of time. And there's still regulations of doctor's approval and all this stuff. So it's a complicated time, and I'm afraid of this new surge of people now, where it's sort of peaking, looking for a lot of help. And I just hope that, I'm trying to keep in touch with people I know who had it so that they're all kind of prepared to be like, yeah, you got to saddle up and get that needle going
Yeah.
to get the transfusions, because that's everyone who's had it has to sort of help. It feels like a war effort, man. For me, it does. So,
well, I think you have a great mentality on it all. And it's been a pleasure having you. Well, not a pleasure, but I think it's been very informative having you take us through it. Because, like you said, even a couple of weeks ago, everything was in the abstract, and you're getting so much poor information, and there's been really no leadership from the top of the federal government. It's been kind of all dished out to states, which are all treating things differently. And like you said, this is kind of a wartime effort. It needs to come from the top. Like, now they're maybe talking about that there's enough testing, but they don't have enough swabs. It's like, how the fuck can we not make enough swabs?
Yes, it's crazy. It really is insane. So like, I'm sure there's some answer to that, but it just doesn't seem like a good enough answer.
Well, the terrifying thing is, this is not a political podcast, but I do worry that there's delays because of grifting. You have like a supreme grifter as the president of the United States, and I worry about that. I hope that that's just bullshit in my head, but I worry about people trying to profit off this.
I also am super terrified about that, and it's crazy to think that people, just the fact alone that Trump himself said, "Oh, kids can go to school. Kids can go to school." Like that alone killed people. That saying that, like just that, and that's just one thing that's been said, on a crazy weird dais every day, and it's I hate the dude myself, so I don't know what to say. No. I just think it's terrible that this is the person that we have to lead this effort. And I guess this is kind of why I've felt very personally motivated myself to try to share, and I try to document my experience, like on my Facebook page and all that, like as I was going through it, because there's no information out there, and there's no leaders out there who are doing this, and somebody has to, I'm nothing special, but someone has to say something, at least to say, this is what's going on, because, when you look on the news and you see this dude who's supposed to be your guide, even as a perfect, let's just say he with all of his imperfections that I think of Trump on a normal day-by-day basis, that I could just go, man, every single day, this is crazy. Let's just say that was aside, and he he still would need to be in this moment right now, the voice to get people together and unified. Like, you would have to like put it aside and go, well, I fucking hate this guy, but at least he's the guy who's saying something about it. So I'll listen up and see what's going on. And then it's just a bunch of gobbledygook coming out of the dude's mouth every single day. Can't even handle that. So it's terrifying.
And it's a complete lack of empathy.
Complete lack of empathy. Yes.
So, which is like, I don't know. It's literally the worst personality trait you could have, especially in a time like this when people are suffering and dying. To be like bragging about other issues is like, I can't imagine how I'd feel if I had a loved one die from this, and you see someone bragging about ratings or some bullshit.
That's on him, man. I hope that the American public doesn't forget that. That's all I can say. It's like yeah.
He sucks, I know. What are you gonna do? So anyway, how can people out there support the Whistle Stop in this time when it's currently shut down? You have a virtual tip jar and so forth.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, for the staff of the Whistle Stop, I set up early on. I set up a virtual tip jar. We have our Whistle Stop our handle on Instagram for Whistle Stop is Whistle Stop Bar. And so you can find it there. And I think in our bio, there's the link is right there to donate. There's some set amounts that are there, just, some kind little amount to donate to if you have a little extra change. And then if you want to donate more, you can certainly donate more too. But yeah, this is all going to the staff and, direct to them. So we're kind of going to hopefully be distributing some of that out there. We've gotten some, and I wish it was more. I certainly realize that everyone is strapped right now. It's a tough time out there for everyone. So I understand that not everyone's able to donate, but if someone has the little bit of extra and thinks about the Whistle Stop and remembers good times that they've had there, a lot of those good times come from a really incredible staff that we've, kind of selected over a long time to be open, inclusive, to be caring, to be kind, and, offer good service and be interesting and creative. And, I think that's something that I think a lot of people are missing right now. And so I hope that, if people do have the means to donate, they'd consider donating that way. So.
Okay. So Whistle Stop Bar, and that's on Instagram. So
yep. And I think you could probably search online for the Facebook as well too, and probably have something. We do, I think, have the link up there as well too.
Cool. So people get out there and take care of business.
It
is a special bar in San Diego, and like you talked about, it's more than just drinking drinks, so forth. It's a cultural hub. So
good, caring people. We have a amazing clientele or whatever. The people come in and are patrons. It's just I've watched so many. I've watched movements and creative endeavors be born there for years, and it's such an honor to be a part of that. And it's really sad to see my coworkers in the middle of all this be away from it. I think everyone would really want.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
You got it, man. I appreciate taking my little words on it. I really hope that it matters to someone. So,
all right. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye. All right. That was cool. So everyone support the Whistle Stop. Next up, probably the one spot that if it closed in San Diego, I might cry. And that's Pokies. And I got so many good memories of going to Pokies, and it's probably my favorite restaurant in San Diego. And it's somewhere that, when I met Daniel the first time in the late 90s and, met Don and all the guys that really that welcomed us to San Diego, like this is where we would always go. And so it has, how like food can remind you of a place, it can give you a feeling. Pokies is not only like my favorite restaurant, but it's also like a place that gives me a feeling of like making lifelong lasting friendships. And so every time I go there, I remember like these are, these are the first times that I met Daniel and Don, and these are people that have been friends my entire life now. So Pokies is very important to me. Daniel?
Yeah, Pokies is if you're going to name one landmark of San Diego that is important to the punk and hardcore community that is not the Che Cafe, it's Pokies. Pokies is where everyone goes to socialize. Like you come into town, like a band is coming from Boston, right? You take them to Pokies. That comes down from Oxnard. You take them to Pokies. Like it's our place. It's by punks for punks, but obviously they also serve the general community as well. So it's a huge pillar amongst subculture within San Diego, and I mean, I've been going there since 1994, and I need it in my life always.
Yeah, and it's not only for punks because I bring my mom there. So
no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It has a special place within the punk community, but they serve everyone the same way.
Yes. Yes.
It's rad that they're always hiring people from underground hip hop, like punk, whatever. It has a really family and subculture vibe there, but it's also just the best food in FD. Tofu fajitas forever.
Yeah, dude. All day long. All right. Let's get on to the Pokies interview. All right. On the line, I got Carlos from Pokies. He's one of the brothers and family business. Been around here in San Diego for over 20 years now, right, Carlos?
Yeah, we first opened March 1994.
Yeah. And it's one of the best restaurants here in San Diego. And one of the greatest things about it is, like, it's my favorite spot for vegan, vegetarian food, but it's also like, there's a lot of people out there that they're not down with that. And like, I got a lot of like meat and cheese friends, and I can still bring them. Like, they can come get a carne asada quesadilla or whatever. And so basically you can bring anyone to the restaurant and be happy. And
yeah, that's basically our motto, man. Since back in the day, we try to bring the camaraderie, friends, everybody. We love that. Like, we like to say, like, Pokies is a place where friends can meet and eat,
Yeah.
Like, everyone hangs out here. Friends come here, they hang out, they wait for their buddies to come in. It's cool, man. We're fine with it.
Yeah, I've been coming down since, even when I used to live in Oxnard, we would always come down and meet up with like the hardcore kids down here and go eat at either Pokies or a little later also Sips. So because they were like the two vegetarian spots other than Mandarin Dynasty. But
yeah, at the time, there's so many now. There's so many different vegan options now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, super cool. But we know what the best is. The best is Pokies. So
yeah, that's what's up. Man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how has the COVID-19 affected the business?
A lot, man. It's affected us pretty bad. We had to kind of let go of. Luckily for us, we're mostly a family-owned and operated business, so we're still here. But a lot of our friends that we've been friends since life, they're basically family too. We had to tell them, hey, you're gonna have to take a little break. Right now we're trying to file for whatever loans we can get to bring them back. You know what I mean? We can't let our employees just be out there with, we, gave them all a little bonus here, something to hold you guys down with. And, bam, we're just here,
yeah,
trying to stay afloat, brother, just opening up. We're open for takeout. We got Postmates. If you guys need delivery, we do that. We also have merch. We have shirts and jackets. You can come by, cop one.
yeah.
We don't have a web store yet. We're still in the works of making that happen.
Nah, but you got the Instagram, and the Instagram is active. You got someone posting delicious looking food every day.
Yeah, we try. I'm trying to stay active on that. Try to keep it pushing. We're working on new vegan options every day. We're just trying to set the bar basically.
Yeah, what's the Instagram handle?
It's at Pokies Mexican Restaurant SD.
Yeah, so everyone check that out, and then also, why don't you drop the phone number as well, Carlos?
Okay, 619-702-7160.
And that's the best way if they want to order takeout, or they can go to.
Yeah, order takeout, or you can hit up the Postmates app.
All right, cool. And what do you recommend? What's the best dish on the menu?
Oh man,
That's hard,
if you're really hungry, or if you're trying to feed more than one person, the fajitas is the way to go. Tofu fajitas are always a win for me.
That's why.
The tofu potato mushroom burrito is always good. It's really filling. And if you want something like hearty, I would go with the vegan chorizo breakfast, man. That's like the best. And we serve breakfast all day, so our menu's open all day. Like order whatever. If it's on there, we got it. And we also have a lot of off menu items too, like the Beyond Burger. We also have a vegan Cali burrito now. We have like vegan Cali fries. Like we're trying to step it up and make more stuff as well. More vegan options, the better.
Cool. What about from the meat eaters? I already dropped that. My friend Greg. He said the carne asada quesadilla was the greatest thing he ever had. But what?
Yeah, you know what? We have people that come in for now. We started. It's not been on the menu now for quite some bit time now, but it's called the heart attack burrito. People like all the construction workers that are around here, that's what they come and get. They all want that. Yeah. They want that or the shrimp Diablo burrito, which is like a spicy shrimp burrito. Like personally, me, I stick to the vegan and the vegetarian options. I don't eat meat.
Yeah, me as well. But it's always nice to like not have someone excluded, because
never.
Yeah, sometimes the first time that someone goes out for vegan food, it can be a little funky if they never had it before. And
it could be, man. It could be. There's a lot of places that they go all out and they try they do like the super fancy stuff. You know what I mean? And personally, me, I want to say I'm kind of like a plain Jane. I like rice and beans, simple.
Yeah.
I'm very simple. Like that'll make my day.
Yeah. Hey, is like the cabbage, like the slaw that comes on the side of a lot of the stuff?
Yeah.
Is that like an old family recipe that's been around forever?
It is. It's actually one of the things that our father taught us how to make before he passed on.
Yeah.
And then him and then his younger brother named Salvador came into the picture as well, and he taught us a lot of stuff too, on the mahi and the shrimp stuff. He put us up on game with that stuff. Because before we didn't sell that stuff back, I want to say 17 years ago, maybe we didn't sell that,
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. That's something I always wondered about. But Carlos, you hang in there, man. We're all pulling for our favorite local businesses.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you. And yeah, for sure. And I just want to give a shout out to the MNPK boys. You know what I mean? The whole Monday Night Pokies crew. Yeah. If they're listening, what up?
Shout out Modern Mike.
Yes, sir. Modern Mike.
Yeah, man, with the side of fries.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
No fresco for my boy. Hey, thanks a lot, man. Have fun talking with you, brother. You guys have a good week.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Peace.
All right. Everyone support Pokies. Next up, we got Sips. And again, this is a spot that I started going to. In this interview, I think I say that been going there since the late 90s, but I got corrected, and I think that they opened in 01. So I guess I've been going there since the early 2000s. And again, around the year 2000, 2001, there wasn't as many vegan and vegetarian restaurants as there are now, and even in a bigger city like San Diego. So you can imagine coming down from Oxnard and it's this is fucking heaven. I can eat orange chicken again? What the fuck? This is a flavor I haven't eaten since I went vegetarian. You know what I mean? And so, Sips is totally rad. There's a location, the one by me in Claremont, and then there's also one in North Park now. And yeah, totally delicious, vegan Asian food.
Yeah, Sips was a game changer too, because, lots of the vegetarian, Chinese food or Asian fusion food around at the time would be very tofu based or whatever, and except for Mandarin Dynasty, Sips came, boom, here's your vegetarian meat. That's going to be the star of the show on the dishes, and they are so delicious. And yeah, when Sips came around in 2000, 2001, it was okay, is it weird that I've been to this place 4 times this week?
Yeah. I know you're shy, so you do a couple takeouts,
yeah.
But yeah. Yeah. So anyway.
But I'm I need that cashew chicken.
Dude, I need that Kung Pao. What's up? But yeah, let's hit it. This is the interview with Sips. All right, we have Sylvia. She is the owner and the proprietor of Sips, which is one of the best vegan restaurants here in San Diego. They specialize, correct me if I'm wrong, but like mostly like vegan Asian fusion.
Correct. Yes. We do a lot of just all different kind of Asian style: Thai, Japanese, Vietnamese, Chinese.
Yeah, and it's delicious. The mock chicken is out of this world, and it goes all across the spectrum, right? Because like as a vegetarian, there's just certain flavors that you can't get, like for instance, sweet and sour. You know, you can't go to a Chinese restaurant and get like sweet and sour bean curd and have it like satisfy what you used to get when you could get chicken. But like right. But it Sips, like the mock chicken, it like takes on everything so perfect. Like I love the orange chicken, and then I love like how you guys just do like the barbecue chicken. Oh, it's delicious.
The appetizer, yeah. Thank you. Hey, so we've been around, almost 20 years.
Yeah,
we're probably one of the very few vegetarian restaurants that actually survive all these years. You know, but my concept is, you know, for the food, it doesn't matter if it's vegetarian or meat. Food needs to taste good. So that's our whole concept, is to make, you know, provide like an alternative to meat eating for vegetarians that, you know, that crave what they grew up eating, like corn chicken or curry or, you know, sweet and sour, that kind of dishes, and just make and make it taste, you know, imitate the taste, so that you don't miss what you grew up eating, but still be able to, you know, live your lifestyle of choice. Really now we've evolved and really vegan. We have one dish, like a walnut shrimp that is made with mayonnaise, but we also give you an option to make it vegan. We use veganese as an option as well. But really all the other dish, if you're vegan, you can pretty much order everything off our menu. We do a lot of vegan desserts as well. So we've been around a while.
Yeah, and the menu's huge though. So to just have a single dish where you say like, oh, we have one dish that isn't vegan, like that's okay.
Yeah, right. I know. I'm like, you know, we are getting ready to open a Sips in La Jolla. I don't know if you heard.
No.
Actually, this coming Friday, we're just gonna quietly just open, and you know, so people can you know, consider the circumstances and the craziness going on right now. We kept holding off, but a lot of people waiting for us, and it just makes it a lot easier for the community to be able to, you know, get our food and not have to drive across town.
Sure.
So we're going to go ahead and open. Yeah.
Yeah. Because how did I mean the podcast? This one is about the COVID-19 and how it's affected my favorite businesses in San Diego. How did that affect you? Like it just got rolled out, and you're like, oh my God, we just have to not be open today.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I have like half a day of almost like a rumor, like starting tomorrow that you can't do any dining. I have to say, you know, being self-employed in the last 20 years, it's the hardest thing that ever hit us, because, you know, my staff is like, you know, what do you do? What do you say? It's like, you know, it's like my kids. And all of a sudden you have to say, oh, I'm sorry, I have no work. No, you can't come in. There's no more work.
Right.
You know, and then a lot of them are young and they're not, you know, people, they don't save up, and it's hard because, you know, it's so expensive to live too.
Yeah. Right.
And all of a sudden now you're like, hey, dude, I don't have a job for you and I can't afford to pay you. So that's the hardest part.
Of course.
You know, but you know, the super cool thing is we have so far have gotten a lot of support from you know, vegetarian and vegan and just from the San Diego community. You know, our sales is not bad. It's just really hard when I look at my dining space and it's all empty. No one's here, and you know, I have to cut 60% of my staff.
Right.
You know, so that's it's really hard. But you know, we're optimistic. You know, we're here, and a lot of people come in. They make us so happy because you know what? I used to, when I work at this, I always ask people when I'm bringing up, hey, how was everything? People always said, oh, it's amazing as always. And I I always tell my friends, if you're going to open any restaurant, open a vegan restaurant, because you know what, the community support you, and you can, provide good food, and be able to share with, get people exposed to non-meat dishes that it taste good. So now when people come in, it's turning around where people are asking us, "Hey, how's it going, guys? We're so thankful that you're around, and that we can provide good food, so we can have places to be able to bring food into our house." And people really are so thankful for us being here. And so for us, as sad and as stressed as we are, we feel a lot of love for sure. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Well, you have been around for so long. I mean, I can remember coming down to San Diego in the '90s, and the places that we would go would either be Sips or Mandarin Dynasty or Pokies, and two of the three are left. But,
yeah, we've been around almost 20 years. We're going on 19 years this year.
Yeah, so cool.
Summer 19. Yeah. Yeah.
But people can still continue to support you by. Are you doing takeout and delivery?
We are. For us, we would love for people to just give us a call. If you want us to take your credit card over the phone so that we are ready, you just come in to sign. That would be ideal. But we are also on delivery we use Uber Eats and Grubhub and DoorDash.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three most popular delivery service.
Mm-hmm.
And we work pretty closely with them. We ask when they come in to honor, our safety and, cleanliness and disinfect, everything, and try not to touch stuff. And, so we're definitely do delivery, but pickup would be awesome if anyone hears us.
Yeah.
Come on in. Yeah. Give us a call.
Yeah. And I've done the delivery several times since this shutdown, and it's been completely delicious just being delivered. So everyone should do that or go get takeout. Yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you. You know what? We probably we've had a few requests, but I don't know if you're on Instagram, but if you do follow us at Tips on Instagram,
okay.
But we may roll out where we would offer the vegetarian, vegan meat alternative,
mm-hmm.
like the chicken, the shrimp, and I know that one customer last week had bought our fried shrimp appetizer,
mm-hmm.
and she went home and made it into a sushi roll, because currently we do not offer sushi at the moment because of the short staff.
Sure.
So we may just start rolling that out. I'm trying to figure out, with help from my customer and other friends in the industry, of how to do like a grocery, but we would be specifically more of offering the vegan protein.
Yeah. Well, originally you had the store in Poway that had a little bit of that, right?
We did. Yes. Oh, yes, we did. We had a little freezer where we put like bags of small bags of the different meat.
Yeah.
In the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. We could easily do that, because the hardest part of doing that is because we're mom and pop. Sure. We don't know how to make it look really pretty.
Sure.
Like what people are used to in the store with a really pretty packaging.
Yeah.
So what we did was we just put them like a little Ziploc bag. Like you can get it in half a pound or 4 ounces or something that you want to make. Just make some food at home for your family.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to do that again. That's true. We did do that. We could pull it off.
Yeah, I believe in you. The last thing that I think we should end on is, I think I saw on your Instagram that you were you donating food to like some of the nurses in the nearby hospitals?
Yes, we did. We reached out to Sharp Hospital, and specifically some of the nurses come into SIPS because they're vegetarian. And so we had a contact there and made a pledge and just offered 20 meals a day for 7 days straight to Sharp emergency rooms, because some of the staff there definitely worked so hard that, they weren't able to come out for lunch and had other people pick up food. So we did that, and it went really well, and people were so thankful. And, we're super happy that we're able to do that. We're happy to do it again. If there's a team, a fundraising team that would love for us to donate, if they just message us on Instagram, I'll be happy to make arrangement and if someone could pick it up, because we don't have the capability to deliver ourselves, but we'll be happy to, donate more meals to help the community.
Yeah, that's just amazing that like in your hardest time that to see you reaching out like that. I think that's admirable, and that's why people latch on to certain businesses that like there's something more to them, right? It's like sure I like Sips for the food, but I feel connected to it in a different way as well,
Thank you. Well, we're happy to be here for sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Sylvia. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, Zach.
Okay.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay,
bye-bye.
All right. Next up is a spot very close to the pod's heart. And that's the Heartwork coffee shop in Mission Hills. And this is co-owned by Rob and his wife and another partner. And Rob Moran of Unbroken People, Hardcore People. And
it's co-owned by Sam of Rod of Correction.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. Dude, some serious bangers going on there. But yeah, this place rules. You want a cup of coffee? Great place to go. Great atmosphere. Everyone's a sweetheart. The people that hang out there, all sweethearts, and great chill neighborhood. It's a great spot to hang out. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much praise you can put on a coffee place, but all is pushed onto this.
Yeah, and it's almost like when you go there, it's the hardcore version of Cheers. You're going to see someone and like, hey, what's up when you walk in.
Yeah, and
it's amazing.
Yeah, and if you're a hardcore kid and you come to San Diego and you don't get your picture next to the black sheep on the wall around the corner, you're a poser. Yeah,
you're posing hard if you don't pose with that.
Yeah, you got to pose or you're posing, fool.
Yeah, and Heartwork also has a delicious signature drink called the Dandy, which is my own signature drink at the lovely establishment. So recommend you go in, get an iced Dandy. Tell them I sent you.
Yeah, man. Do that. Or just get an Americano. Keep it easy, man.
Boo. You're trying to shove an Englishman out the way with an Americano?
I like it. Nice and simple. Just give me espresso and water, man. That's all I want.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love Heartwork. And here is my interview with Kim. All right, on the phone now, I have Kim Moran she's one of the co-owners at Heartwork Coffee in the Mission Hills neighborhood of San Diego. So, Kim, can you give me a quick history of Heartwork?
Sure. Heartwork is owned by me and my husband, Rob Moran, and our business partner, Sam Stothers. Both of them been in a million bands over the years, and we opened a little over 5 years ago, and it was really like a passion project for both Rob and Sam. And I sort of tagged along because I'm good at the back end of stuff, the business portion, the boring shit, QuickBooks, social media, etc. And I'm also really not good at having a boss, so the thought of working for myself was very desirable.
Yeah, and it's named after a song, right?
Yes, from the Carcass record, but we don't tell like our regular customers that. Oh. But yes.
Then we shouldn't put it out for the masses.
Oh no, it's fine. It's just like our neighborhood is so interesting. The fact that we open in Mission Hills, because it really is like a wealthy, older neighborhood, and there's like punks running a business there. We definitely stick out like a sore thumb, but we've really earned like their trust. But there are certain things where we just they don't know and they don't need to know. And truly it was like a labor from our heart, so we can get away with saying that. But yeah, people who know walk in and then they look around and they're like, wait, is this? And we just laugh. Like, yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, in 5 years, I mean, that's impressive. So congratulations.
It truly is. Thank you. I mean, it was, we did everything ourselves. We built it out. We haven't really paid anyone to do anything. Maybe it would have been a little bit smarter to do it. But our 5-year anniversary was a really proud moment for all of us, because a small business, surviving that long is really rare. And especially for us, like with our punk ethics or whatever, like really doing it our way and surviving and thriving was a huge accomplishment. And then, we got hit with all this craziness going on.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But what makes Heartwork stand apart is kind of like it's a hangout too, right?
True. We really wanted to create what we thought was missing in coffee and in San Diego is like there are those places, especially like in punk and hardcore, whatever. Like when you're in X city, you eat at this place and you get coffee here, or there's a bar here, or whatever. And we didn't really feel like that was the void in San Diego, was like kind of a gathering place for touring bands and our friends and our community and to have shows and art shows and stuff like that. And so it's a miracle to me that we've been able to pull it off because our shop is so small. But it is so awesome when I'm working and bands are like, oh yeah, we're passing through and so told us to come here. Just that word of mouth that like has happened forever since before the internet.
Sure.
To create like a clubhouse really for like misfits and,
Yeah. And for all the bands that do come through and all the punk and hardcore kids, you have like the giant Minor Threat sheep on one of the walls outside.
Right. So yes. It's sort of our smoke signal. Like, okay, you're passing by. If you don't know from the front of our shop and you don't catch the name, like, and maybe the sheep will let you know. It's like an inside, obviously it's an homage to like everything that brought all of us up. But it's sort of just like letting people know, like, we don't, like we're here as punks, like running a business. So we're hoping that punk and hardcore people will support us too.
Yeah, and also the kids, they want to get the Instagram photo next to it.
Well, of course.
Tag all your friends, tag Heartwork.
Of course, yes.
Hit them hashtags.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. And, we had a troll last year, and it was one of my proudest moments. Someone on our Facebook that was like trying to school us on the fact that Ian wouldn't like that we were profiting off of the image. And so I had to take him to school a little bit about about who we are and what we stand for, and the fact that it's not on anything that we're making money on. It's just literally like an inside like smoke signal for people.
Yeah, I've never been charged to take my photo next to it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's what I said. I was like, we don't charge people to take their pictures. We're not. I mean, it's for us. It's not for anyone else. But, keyboard warriors are so fucking tough.
Yeah. Yeah, so how COVID-19 comes and it didn't, hit us overnight. It snuck up kind of slowly, but as far as how it affected businesses, it did really happen overnight.
Well, and I am a mom of someone who has major respiratory issues. Rob and my son, Andy, has horrible asthma. So I was paying attention to it just basically since the end of last year, because it's really freaking scary. And at the shop, as things started to progress where I was feeling like, dang, this is like an inevitability, I instructed everyone, we just amped up our cleaning. And then probably 2 weeks before it really blew up, we stopped using any ceramics for here, because the studies at that point showed that the only thing that was really being able to disinfect was super hot water, like dishwasher water. And we are so tiny that we don't have a dishwasher. So we just stopped that. We stopped our entire where you would put creamer and sugar. We took everything away. Everything was disposable, which really goes against everything that I love, which is reusing and not fucking wasting. But my decision was made super easy for me, because I was like, well, if I can keep our employees safe and our community safe, then obviously there's no price that you could put on that.
Sure.
But as things got closer, we were in touch with the health department of San Diego pretty much daily. They were sending us kind of their instructions. And I was happy that I was obviously the most alarmed, because that's just my personality. But Rob and Sam and I were always 2 steps ahead of what the health department was requiring. So when they were requiring only to-goes, we had already been doing that for a week. When they decided there needed to be 6 feet in between, the customer and the employees, we had already done, no one was coming inside. There was no tables outside. We had makeshifted like a long table where people could order and still remain socially distant. And then as soon as Gavin Newsom required all bars and non-essential businesses to close, we closed. And there are some coffee shops that are still open, and I understand that everyone has different business decisions to make and different people to answer to and different ethics and things like that. But to us, if we didn't feel comfortable coming into the shop, like I don't feel comfortable because I have a kid that's fragile medically, I couldn't ask our employees to come into the shop.
Yeah.
Coffee is not that important. It is very important, but it is not like you can exist without it. You don't need your latte. You can wait a couple months, or you can order coffee and make coffee at home. I think it's irresponsible for many businesses to stay open at this time. That's my personal opinion. Obviously, like I said, everyone has their own, their own decisions. But for me, I could not lay my head down at night knowing that our business was making people come out of the house when our governor doesn't want them to. So if you need to come out to get groceries or food or whatever, have at it. We serve pastries. We don't serve food. That is not a meal. So I felt very comfortable being like, you know what? I'm not going to add to the problem. There's enough issues of people adding to the problem. I want to be able to look back and say, wow, we really did the best thing that we could with the information that we had.
Yeah. And
because if we lose our business and I can look back and say, wow, well, at least we took it seriously, I will not feel bad. I won't. I mean, of course my heart will be broken, but like who could plan for this?
No, the 1 in 100-year pandemic.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing was the health department sent us a message once and was like, you should enact your pandemic preparedness plan.
Man, yeah. Who would have that?
No, well, I don't even think the health department did.
No, and I don't. So, definitely, the federal government didn't.
Oh well, that's for sure.
But yeah. So, how can people help you in this time that you're shut down?
You can help us. Our website is up and running. We are shipping about once or twice a week, just to make sure that everyone's getting the freshest coffee. Everything is delayed. The post office sometimes picks up, sometimes they don't. We're trying to understand and support them. They're working their asses off, and the government is not supporting them either. I'm trying to give as much money to them to save the post office. Our website has all our current offerings. We've got new stuff going up. Right now we have a merch sale. By the time this airs, everything might be sold out, which would be awesome. Buying gift cards that you can use once we reopen would be super awesome. We have a barista relief fund through PayPal. If you PayPal Rob at heartworkcoffeebar.com and put tip jar or barista, all that money is going to our employees.
Cool. And the website is?
heartworkcoffeebar.com.
Heartwork?
And if you like how it looks, I made it.
Awesome. Heartwork?
Heartworkcoffeeebar.com.
Heartworkcoffeebar.com. Heartworkcoffeebar.com. And they can find you on
check out our Instagram, Heartwork Coffee Bar. We post frequently about different stuff we've got going on. We've got some new coffees coming up this week from Mexico. We're doing as best as we can to keep up a mail order. It looks a lot different than it did before COVID. We are reducing the amount of times we're shipping just to reduce my interaction with the post office. But if everyone is just patient, it will come and it will be delicious.
Yeah, it's almost as good as getting it there, right? I mean, we lost a sense of community, but it's gonna stave you guys off. It's your
yes. If you support us online, we will have a much higher chance of reopening, so we can talk shit to you when you come in, recommend some new restaurants, do all the things that we love to do, talk about music.
Yeah.
All of that is, the coffee is incredibly important to us, obviously, but the community is what drives us. It's what makes us want, you can get coffee anywhere, but there's a level of service that we try to have, and just creating a place that's fun to come get coffee at and fun to meet friends or meet new people. That's what, my favorite part of the shop is.
Yeah, and it's right next door to M Theory, so you can go record shopping.
Yeah, you can get records. You can get coffee. There's no better morning. And on Saturdays, we normally have tacos. That's your weekend starting off right.
All right, so let's buckle down, get through this COVID stuff. We're going to support Heartwork. You're going to get a Heartwork coffee bar. Yeah, heartworkcoffeebar.com and buy something, and let's help these businesses stay in business so when this opens up, we can return to a world that we enjoy.
Yes, because if you keep ordering shit on Amazon will be the only thing that is open.
Yeah, what a dystopian nightmare. All those discharge songs are going to be real.
Exactly. It's scary.
Yeah.
Fuck Jeff Bezos too.
Yeah.
I just want that on record.
Yeah, I usually try to support my fellow bald Americans, but he's one I don't like.
Well, he could just make like two different decisions and not be evil, and he just won't.
Some people are like that, huh? They're just wired. They're wired the wrong way.
But we're hearing all these stories of small businesses that are doing the right thing. We did as much as we could. We paid our employees 2 extra weeks. We created a coffee where all of the proceeds went to them. We have a tip jar for them. And then you hear of these business owners even small business owners that are just much more well off than we are, that are doing nothing for their employees. They're just like, well, bye.
Well, in some businesses that you kind of feel like they're righteous, like a Whole Foods, like they're, like they're kind of on the vegetarian tip and the health tip and all that. Them asking their employees to like share their sick time, it's like, come on, people. But that's an Amazon thing too, I guess. So to walk.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm excited to see how much this kind of energizes people to fight for what they love and want to support. If I'm trying to look on like the bright side, I do feel like so many people are a lot more privy to like how fucked up so many things are. So if we can kind of take this to mobilize us as a community to like make things better for us and our kids, and I'll take that. If we're gonna try to, it's very hard for me to try to find like bright spots in this, mostly because I'm stuck inside with an almost 4-year-old every day. But we got to just try to we can't like let this say in 2 months everything is quote unquote back to normal. We can't forget like this is. Our government is fucking us. Big business is fucking us, and they're not paying. And small business owners are doing the most that they can.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's why you got to support your small business owners. If you got your government stimulus check, spend $20 at a place you love. Buy a gift card. Talk to your barber. See if you can prepay for a haircut. All these things, like we shouldn't have to be doing them, but we do have a power to change.
Yeah, 100% agreed, Kim. So we're going to go to heartworkcoffeebar.com. We're going to support Heartwork. And
thank you, Zach.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time, Kim.
And support the podcast.
Hey, don't worry about me. Because now I unfortunately I can't travel around as much now. So
yeah, but you could do phone interviews, but they're not so good, huh?
They're not as good, and so that's really disappointing. I love the face-to-face interaction. I think it's what I excel at the most. It's really hard to get your rhythm down with someone over the phone.
Yeah, because you can't tell when someone's about to talk.
Yeah,
you don't see like the breath or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a little more. Well, I don't know. What's your opinion? Do you think in person is a little more honest because they're in person, or you think that on the phone, maybe someone not looking at you face to face is a little more willing to open up?
Yeah, so I think there's totally two sides to that. To me, I'm a very honest person, so it's easy for me either way. But I do think there's something about an in-person meeting where you can kind of get caught up in the fact that, like, oh, we're just chatting.
Right.
Like we're just friends, we're shooting the shit or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you have those body language cues to understand, like, oh, this person's going to talk, or this person's not really feeling that answer, or maybe they have a different opinion than I do. But I do think there's something about the phone, at least. How old are you, Zach?
I'm 40.
Okay. So in our era, I spent hours on the phone.
Yeah.
Like as a kid,
Oh yeah.
hours just talking. So there's something very special and like reminiscent about my youth that like talking on the phone is. I'm the kind of person that like, I still like to talk on the phone. I'm old.
Yeah.
Not as old as Rob, so that's okay. But
Daniel's gonna love that.
well, he's 47 years old. I mean, he looks like he's 27, which is rude.
It's
But
a beautiful man.
he is, and you know, all the rumors are true that he's just the nicest person in the world.
Yep.
I'm married to him, and I can still say that. I mean, he pisses me off, but that's just marriage.
Yeah, his hairline pisses me off, but whatever.
You know, you can't have everything. Okay, Zach?
True.
You can't have it all.
True.
But but I love talking on the phone, and I think there's something really special about talking on the phone. I do think that, say you're interviewing someone that's like in their 20s, it would be different because they didn't really grow up with how we would do it.
Sure.
I mean, I'm only 36, so I'm a little younger than you, but we would talk for hours.
Yeah, for
My mom would I would take the corded phone into like the pantry and talk. So I think there's something really special about the phone.
Yeah, some people.
I don't know.
Yeah, some people like if they can just settle in and find their comfortable spot, they can kind of do that. The late night zone out of being on the phone.
Yes.
And,
yes.
Yeah. So.
But I think if you're talking to younger kids, I don't know. I don't know. It's so weird right now too. Like, just you're the first like person outside of my family that I've talked to, so that was kind of awkward. Like, oh, okay, there's another person in this world.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm out there. I'm isolating the best I can. So
good. Are you working?
No, we had to shut down. So
yeah. Are you gonna pay?
Well, I'm a business owner.
Oh. Well, so then you're fucked just like the rest.
It's not fun. The more service industry stuff is what I worry about the most. I just wanted to focus on basically you guys, sips, pokies.
Rad.
Yeah, like stuff like that. That like it would be a real travesty if we came out of this and they weren't around.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate your time, Kim.
Of course, Zach. I hope we get to hang out sometime this year.
Yeah, I hope so too. I'm definitely missing people.
So. Yeah. Are you? And I know that when you interviewed Rob, he said you were going to do a part 2. Yeah,
we got to do that too. Rob.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we got to go into the all the over my dead body stuff so he can roast Daniel.
Oh yeah, my favorite topic.
That's my favorite topic too.
the Daniel roasting. But if Daniel has a number of stories on Rob that he should share too, so it's a fair fight.
Well, he did have that great one about Rob unknowingly heckling Ian McKay.
Oh yeah, that's legendary. Next time you talk to Daniel, ask him about Swamp Thing.
Okay, I will.
It's my favorite story.
Awesome.
All right, Zach, take care, okay?
Okay, thanks so much, Kim.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Next up, I wanted to get a record store in here. First off, Google Reanimated Records in San Diego. They're very punk and hardcore friendly, and they're in La Mesa. See what's going on their Instagram and so forth. And M Theory, which is right around the corner from Heartwork, and then also Record City in Hillcrest. These are all record stores that I like and support and try to go to a fair amount. But this is probably my favorite store in San Diego County. It is Standards Records. It is located in Vista. And interviewed Colin. And Daniel, you've been away for a long time, and when you come back, you don't have a car, and you're kind of in San Diego proper. Have you ever made it up to Standards?
Yeah, so like maybe every 2 to 3 times. Like no, a bit longer than that actually. Because sometimes I'm not there that long. But every time I have the chance, Modern Mike and myself will make a trip out to Standards, and every single time, no disappointment. In fact, absolute excitement, because it is a record store done by someone who loves records, and it shows. The thing that makes it like so awesome is that it's priced to move. Like all the records are priced for people to buy them. They're not priced to just sit there and be on the wall. And, he's very reasonable. It's very awesome. And, can I just say something to everyone who's listening right now? I don't want to see you go into a record store and look at a price of a record and then pull it up on your phone on Discogs and think, oh no, it's like $8 cheaper on Discogs. Fuck you. If you like a place to go to browse and look for records, support record shops and buy them at the price they're selling them, and don't be on your phone looking up prices of things because you're a dickhead if you do.
Well, and also the other thing is if you do Discogs, like, you got to pay shipping. You don't get to go home and listen to it, so you don't get to have like that excitement of like, oh, I just got this record. I'm going to run home and listen to it. And that's a giant part of it. And to save $1 or $2 is stupid.
Yeah. I mean, even if it's $20 cheaper on Discogs, fucking support a record store, man.
Well, you also don't know like of the condition of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like they rate it, but everyone rates everything very good plus, which like could be like from being pretty pristine to being almost shit.
My boss just bought 2 really old, like classic punk records that he's got like probably the most insane record collection out there. He bought these 2 old punk records that were rated as very good plus and near mint, and they looked like they'd been through a wood chipper.
Yeah.
And the person writes back, it is near mint for 1981.
Oh, so just no. You might save $5, but that's what you get. So yeah, support record stores. And also, Dan, it was funny you bring that up though, because I'm self-conscious of that. But like, so if I'm in a record store, I have my whole record list like in a Google Docs. So a lot of times I'll come across something and I'm like, do I already have that? Do I have this one? Yeah, exactly. And so I have to pull out my phone and look at my list. And I always wonder if like the clerks look at me and is like, you Discogs ass motherfucker.
Well, do you know what I do now? Is I have started putting all my stuff on Discogs, like just in my collection, not to sell, but put my stuff on Discogs so I know what I have. Mm-hmm. And I actually make an announcement like a fucking nerd. But like, if it's a one clerk situation in a small record store, I'm like, hey, I'm pulling out my phone to look to see if I have this already, not to see if it's cheaper on the internet. I just want you to know.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, man, calm down.
Yeah. Who asked you, fool?
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, support your local record store. And here's my interview with Colin from Standards. All right, everyone. Got Colin from Standards Records in Vista, California. Probably the best record store in San Diego proper. Neck and neck with Reanimated, we can say, right, Colin?
For sure.
Little unity going on.
I guess it's not for me to say, though. I'm biased.
That's true. But if you're closer to San Diego proper, you can go to Reanimated. And if you're in the Northern County, Standards and Vista is awesome. And it's somewhere that I try to make the road trip up to. Not a road trip. It's 45 minutes, once a month or so. How often do I see you, Colin? Once every 6 weeks?
Something like that. I don't know. I'm sure there's a cycle.
Yeah. I love it. It's nice to take that little drive up and, see the water along the way up the 5 and then go shop for records, man. So it's nothing better to do on a Saturday afternoon.
We are conveniently located in the middle of nowhere. So we have that.
Yeah, the drive there's nice. The last 5 minutes of the drive, not the best. But yeah. So, Colin, what's the history of Standards? How long have you guys been around?
We started in 2012, and if my math serves me correct,
that'll be 8.
Being in 2020 now, that's 8 years.
Yeah, man, that's super impressive. And what stands out about Standards? What type of music do you mostly sell?
It's a little bit of everything, honestly. I think it's like the common, accepted ideas that it's like a punk store or something, which I don't really know what that even means, really. But I mean, I think ultimately we acknowledge hardcore and punk as existing, whereas I think a lot of stores would love it if, it just didn't. and they didn't have to bother with music like that. But yeah, I carry punk and I carry metal, and I also carry, all the dad rock and the, floppy hat indie rock music, and, underground hip hop and old funk music and everything in between. But I think the fact that, there are hardcore and metal records in the store, it's like, oh yeah, they have that. So yeah, we do have that. But we also have other music.
Yeah. I mean,
I like to say that we specialize in good records, but
yeah, I think that's fair. Like you're a music fan, so you know how to curate stuff. Like, when you started curating like the reggae section, like you went for it, and it's one of the best reggae sections. It's probably the best reggae section in all of San Diego.
Used to be better when there was better reggae distributors open. One of my big distributors closed, and every store I talked to were all lamenting that there's not really a great place to get that. It used to have a really interesting economy, I guess. Even I would say more so than like punk music with like all the DIY ethics and like low price records. I think all that stuff has kind of been slowly trickling away, but like the reggae world was just like dirt cheap records. You could get some of the best, records in the genre for under $15, and that's like about wholesale price of what like a lot of major indies are charging right now. But yeah, it used to be a really interesting section to stock, and like unfortunately with that music, like the used albums, like they don't exist usually. It's like they'll go through someone's classic rock collection and they'll have like one Peter Tosh record, so you can't really count on like coming into great records used consistently. But lately I think that whole world has been hit in the same way as everything else, which is just really exorbitant costs on reissues and kind of smaller numbers and whatnot, which is, like I said, that's affecting everyone. But they were one of the last, like, basic reissues on green sleeves or whatever. Those were like some of the last holdouts of like very reasonably priced albums for that, and like really high quality of music and high quality of pressings too. They actually put an iota of effort into getting the records sounding good. Whereas like, your basic major label reissue would be, $30 and be sourced from a CD. But that's my side rant. But yeah, I'm trying over here. We're trying.
Yeah, I just think it's a great rant, and it kind of sums up why Standards is so good. It's like, if there's a good ass genre of music, you're gonna figure out a way to curate it the best you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
I would hope.
Yeah, I'm vouching for it.
All right.
So COVID-19, and it kind of crept up, but it definitely hit businesses pretty quickly. So
yeah,
how did it affect you?
I mean, I guess I was like, and I don't know, I have not had someone not in the store since we started. Like I want to kind of keep my sea legs up, so to speak, and like I've been pretty much sticking to my regular schedule, working actually a lot more, and so I'm still in the shop as much as I always have been, more so actually. I had to cut Dylan's hours a little. I'm giving him he's the only other employee I got, and he's, working half shift till like, essentially no customers, but figuring out, things to organize and help keep the shop up for when everyone comes back. So yeah, I'm fortunate enough to be in a position to where I'm not, I don't live with old folks or, have young children or anyone who's like in the danger zone. Everyone I live with is grown, healthy people, so it's like it's a nice position to be in, to where I guess there's a little bit of guilt, but I can go out and get some work done. The problem isn't so much the work; it's the compensation for the work, because legally I am closed, and like I've had, when I didn't look as closed, I've had like city people come by and say, "Hey, be closed, you," and there's like, it's crazy. They hand out a notice that has like, hey, stay closed. If you're not closed, you could go to jail, or we can give you a fine. And I mean, the city ordinance people in general, they just like the big dick, so it's like, yeah, I'm sure people are going to go to, I'm sure if a fucking hair salon, cuts some hair right now, they're going to go to jail, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, and I don't know what this premise is. Like, oh, we're going to fine you. Like, okay, fine a business that has to stay closed for X amount of months. Like, where's that money going to come from? You fucking anyway.
Right.
So yeah, I think there are real like threats in terms of like, hey, actually don't be open. So it's been, but so in terms of how the business model normally is, which is, hey, walk on in, see what we got, have a good time, whatever. Now it's like, I don't know. It's almost like a speakeasy kind of thing. If you're a regular enough, it's like, hey, let me come in and look today. It's like, all right, yeah, I got some records, whatever, So there's like workarounds kind of, and that's sort of what's been getting me by. There's also like, listening. And here's the other side of the equation. Like I could have, just work overtime and have everything listed on Discogs tomorrow and make a bunch of sales and have a bunch of money. But then when the doors open, I don't have a store because all my stock has been sold to fucking people across the country or in a different part of the world.
Right.
So it's like, I don't want to sell too much online or shift too much into that, but I also can't, be like, hey, come on in and let's fucking party like I normally can. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm still trying to like I said, keep in the routine. I don't want to just like get, and obviously like there's no such thing as a routine right now. Everyone's kind of fucked. But I'm still putting in hours, still putting in work, still able to not pay my employees as much as I would like to, but something, And thankfully, like I've been doing like Instagram live streams where we're hawking all the records that we're coming up on over the week, and shifting some stuff that's been sitting in the store for a while online, like tidying up, I guess you could say. So there's some income coming, but it's like legitimately like twice the work for about a tenth of the regular income. So like, I don't know. Like I said, you always have to be like, well, there's, there are places where you just can't. I mean, my roommate, he cuts hair, and he's like, he's out. He's out. There's no workaround.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess there's whatever. I'm sure there's like some underground black market barber network. And actually, that's great. So this is a side note. You can you can edit this out if it doesn't fit in. But there's in Camp Pendleton up here. There's a lot of cases of Marines who have the Ronies. They got the COVID.
Sure.
And they're still like doing like they still. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a Marine. I don't have, so I don't know. But I think they still have the same regulations, which is you got to have your sides shaved, you got to have the hair on the top. So it's not like you can't run around with a buzz cut. It's like So there's still like barber shopping being done in this place where everyone lives together, and there's a lot of cases of this plague coming through. So it's like even if you really wanted to get in there and like just get your hands dirty. It's like, no, there's actually kind of a danger in that world. You're also, I don't know. I kind of like, I guess in general, if you're the one getting shit on, you're always going to be like fighting for you. Like, hey, fuck you. Well, let me work. Let me do what I want to do. Let me do what I want to do. That's kind of always the default mode, right?
Yeah.
And right now, I really want to sell records to people. So obviously, I'm on the side of let me sell some fucking records to people.
Sure.
That being said, I think if you were to, I think having however many people come in here a day, which isn't that many realistically. I think if I had sign spinners and fireworks and pool noodle guys, I don't think I'm bringing in as many people in a day as are in Trader Joe's right now.
Sure.
It's a specialty fucking market. So of course I'm looking at it like, all right, is this really a fucking hotbed for fucking outbreaks? If I just open the doors here, given the amount of people that are going to come in. If you're a barber, you're a tattoo artist, if you're, a beautician of some sort, you are really just on a person,
Yeah.
That fucking sucks. And there's really, I don't know, any workaround or, you can't give a fucking haircut over Instagram or anything like that. So thankfully, like I said, it's very nice to be able to do mail order and, have set records aside for people for local pickup and things of that nature. To bring in that 1/10 of income. Like I said, it's twice the work for 1/10 the income. At least I got the 10th. There's at least that's nice to some extent, but it's not sustainable by any fucking means. Like, we're not in dire straits over here, like I can tough it out for a while longer, but like, but I'm in such a specialty area and my business model is so unique in the sense that like, I'm not selling milk. Nothing's going expired. I don't have a bunch of equipment I'm leasing out that I have to make payments on. You know, like what's in here is what's in here, and I can sell it in other ways. That's all well and good. But like, I don't know what the fuck the idea is with a lot of other businesses where it's like, yeah, shut down for fucking 2 months, like, and then what? You know?
Right. Yeah. No, I know it's terrifying. And, you know, I'm sure that the liquor store across the street from you is open, right?
They are. And actually they're like, you know, that's the other side of things. It's like, cause they are like wide open and they are, you know, in the world of vice, you know, selling booze and cigarettes and whatnot. So it's like, but they're hurting, man. They're like, dude, this is fucked. Like the poor guy over there had to like cancel his cable, and he's just like, we're not doing it. You know, I get like a customer every half hour, and that's like a den of vice. You know, that's like a place that you would think would be doing well for that right now. And so even,
but they're getting the overflow. They're getting the overflow from all your businesses being open. Because a liquor store is always like not the best spot to buy stuff. It's always more expensive than if you go to the market. But now if people are leaving the house once a week, they can just buy everything at Vaughn's.
Exactly. So like, so even I guess what I'm saying is even if the doors were wide open, it's like I don't know how many people are out in the mood to go fucking dig around in dirty ass records. So maybe the legality of the store being closed isn't as impactful as just a general situation.
Sure.
So there are still people that want to shop, you know, there are still people that want to come out. Like people are definitely losing their fucking minds. And I think, like I said, because there's not really a bustling place, it's not a fucking Walmart, no record store is, other than maybe Amoeba, I guess. But like, because it's kind of a, I don't know, very low stress, low crowd, low people environment, like people do want to come out, you know, for sure. And you can sense it, you know, like, it's very cool and I'm very appreciative of people who are like DMing, like, hey, you got this? Hey, you got that? Can I get this? Like, they're going through so much work to order, you know, real basic records that would probably be sitting around for weeks, you know, not like crazy high end shit. Just like, let me get that Blue Oyster Cult. Yeah, man, you can tack on $4 for shipping up and down. Okay, cool. They're like putting in the effort to do that. And it's like very cool. It makes me feel very appreciative. But again, it's also an indicator that motherfuckers are pent up and want to go outside of their goddamn house and spend some coin on some stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Hopefully sooner than later on that we can, I mean, that's just it. It's really, I don't know if this is rambling or whatever, but the whole system of like retail, you hear it a lot, right? Oh, retail's dying, retail's dead, the malls are closing, blah, blah, blah. Everyone wants Amazon, drones are delivering shit. Cool. Like, I understand that. And obviously there's a lot of statistics to back that up in certain areas. But like, we invented the system, you know, like humans. This wasn't like some other species came down and said, hey, you guys have to go to malls to buy shit. Right. No, we came up with this and we sustain it because I think we really like it. You know, I really like it. If that goddamn Nike outlet opens up, I'm going to be on the fuck. It's going to look like that scene in Shawshank Redemption where the guy's like got his arms up and the rain's pouring down on him.
Yeah.
I'm going to be fucking praying to Mecca when that shit opens up again. So I'm so goddamn desperate to just go in and look at shit.
Yeah.
I just like looking at shit in stores. Fucking sue me, you know? Like, I don't know why I do. I'm sure like they, like, you know, a lot of people know, just go online and shop online for everything and, you know, whatever. You do that too, but it's like, people like retail. They like going to fucking stores. And now that you can't go into any fucking stores, maybe we're kind of realizing, hey, we like these goddamn places. Yeah. We like these non-essential businesses. So, you know, I think a lot of what the thrust of this pandemic is people kind of going against their nature. You know, like, hey, just look at what they do to prisoners. Like, hey, you're in fucking what is it? Solitary, right?
Right. You go crazy.
And now we're all in fucking solitary. Like, it's the worst part. Yeah. It's like, it's against
and they're like, oh, no, toss me out in a general population where there's a 99% more chance I'll get stabbed. I'd rather be there than alone.
Yeah, you'd rather, that's what the worst of the fucking worst of what our species have to offer. And now it's like we're going against their nature. Not going, like, whatever you can want to say about retail, like I said, the fact that it exists is kind of proof that people like it. And if you're telling people not to do things that they like to do, particularly when it's something as harmless as, you know, going to the fucking mall, you know, it's not, you know, you get into like doing hard drugs and prostitution and stuff. It's kind of a gray area. Maybe there does need to be some push against that. You can understand it. But like going to the fucking mall, like we're kind of in agreement. Like, sorry, there's a segment of the population that really likes it, and I think asking that segment to just stay cooped up and fucking play Animal Crossing, it's just they're gonna snap. We're losing their fucking minds.
Well, I think
we can do it for a while.
That's why you hope that California's done a pretty good job of buckling down. We got to hope that we can pull out of this quicker than other people that aren't taking it seriously.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is it's like just any law that sweeps across of California is kind of crazy because it's like San Francisco is not Fresno, is not downtown LA, is not Bakersfield. Like these are very, very, very different cities and urban settings, and putting the same restrictions on, Visalia or Victorville, which are like kind of rural areas, or like, whatever you want to call that gross, like suburban sprawl kind of area, putting the same regulations on that as you do in downtown Los Angeles, which is just a condensed, dense packing of life, or in San Francisco when it's like dense life packed vertically. Like, sorry, Fallbrook doesn't need to be under the same regulations in terms of, the spreading of plague as the Mission District in San Francisco.
But there's so much movement. So like you can't just have San Francisco do something because there's so much movement between them and Oakland, right? So you would have to like, okay, well these two make sense together, and then like who's deciding that? Then that has to come from like the state level. Otherwise, like what sort of authority would like they have to call and be like, all right, you and me, dude, we're coming up with like this law, Yeah. So I mean, look, that's why we're not in politics and we're not trying to be cops.
Exactly.
Right. Leave it to someone else. It's a fucked up situation, and it's like, a plague they say happens every 100 years or some shit. So unfortunately, when most humans live like 80 years, it just hit us in the prime of our life. Like I'm halfway through that. Like I don't want to be locked up when I'm 40.
Yeah, it's a very I don't know. It's
like I wish it happened when I was 3, and I want to stay at home. I can't walk around.
I don't know. I guess it's just like I'm like everything that pops up now. I'm just like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. Like like, and everyone was like, oh, the alt right is coming up. I'm like, oh, it's kind of like the militias in the '90s. Okay, yeah, I've seen that before. Whatever shit they try to pitch is new, or like whatever attitudes are changing. It's like, oh yeah, I've seen shades of this in other areas. And you can like a Donald Trump or something. That's not new. There's always been that. That's always been around. And so but when something like this comes along, it's like, okay, this is fucking new. Disneyland, when they stick it in the fucking pockets of the rich white guys, when those guys bottom line gets affected, it's like, okay, fuck, what's going on here then? That's some different shit. That's a fucking bottom line. Oh, this is fucking this is some new shit. A lot of other shit, not so new. Oh, VR. Yeah, we've kind of had that around. It's been around. That's not blowing my mind. Movies are in 3D. Yeah, we've seen that. You can't you got to wear a face mask if you want to fucking go to 7-Eleven. Like, that's new. That's some new shit.
I know. It's literally some shit I couldn't picture like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and
now it's the reality. Like they won't let you into the supermarket without one.
And I'm not even like, it's like not something. It's really silly to be like a tough guy about it. That's the last thing I want to come out of. Like, fuck you, I'm not afraid of this. I mean, I'm not really afraid of the virus. But whatever. It's not like, oh, I did more push-ups than you, so now I'm not, immune to this virus. No, I don't have any of those conditions. I'm not in the, target demographic that has the problems or anything like that. And if I was, my attitude would be very different, of course. So like, I don't want to come off as like, I don't know. Yeah, this is fucking, it's all a hoax or whatever. It's like, I get it. Take the precaution. I wear the fucking mask. You want to be a member of polite society and everything like that. But it's like, yeah, there's a fucking pivot I've seen. I don't know. It's a bit much.
Well, I want to get back to buying punk and hardcore records, dude.
Yeah, it would be nice. I guess, again, one of the challenges of this whole thing is kind of finding that balance between, because my stuff has never really been online, so I'd love to be like, go to my website and just order all the records that are available there, because there's nothing like my inventory is nowhere to be seen. But if anyone wants to like support the shop in the downtime. It's all all we got right now is like social media shit. So if you want to smash the follow at the Instagram Standards Record Store, like I said, kind of put some stock that we get like on there, and I'm, got nothing to do right now but bounce around and be like, yeah, I'll go get that for you. We can do mail order, you can do local pickup, whatever is clever. But yeah, the Instagram is pretty much how I've been doing whatever version of business.
Yeah, and you do you'll do like a virtual flip through, right? So you can kind of feel like you're flipping through records.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, so one challenge that I wouldn't have anticipated is just how difficult it's been to find, like, to get records in. Normally, it's really easy to put up stuff on social media. It's like, hey, just bought a big bunch of XYZ kind of records. Here's what I got right now. Come on in and check it out. And that's kind of usually how I handle social media stuff. But the big collections and stuff that's not coming in right now, which is kind of odd. I would have thought it'd be the other way around. I thought people would be, having their bills and not being out of work and selling the records. That's usually how it works in hard times. But this is, I think, because this is something else. It's almost like a hoarder mentality that's clicking in, so people aren't really giving up their records. Thus, I don't really have a whole lot of stuff to put up. So that's what's kind of, that's what's a bummer to me. I hate being like, hey guys, check it out! I got a fucking Paul McCartney record. Like, yeah, that's cool. I know what cool shit to put on Instagram and what isn't. And lately, I just haven't had a whole lot of cool shit to put on there. So we're trying some things. I've been bringing in some records from my personal stash just to kind of spice things up a little bit. So,
dude,
yeah, I think
you can finally sell that Furia 5 record that I sold you 13, 14 years ago. That's signed by James is Mean.
That's gotta stay in the collection. You can't give that. You gotta hold on to your grails. I forgot who I did come was like going through for like, what I did have the One Life Crew Crime Ridden Society. I still have that one on green, and that goes for like a shitload of money now.
Yeah.
I was just like, nah, it's not streaming anywhere, and like there's like certain aspects of that record that are just like too good to give up, and it's like that's kind of weird.
I got it on green too, and people,
of all the things to like hold on to and give up, I'm like, oh yeah, it's Fear record, I can get it again. It's fucking whatever, some death metal record, I could just buy it again on Discogs, whatever. It's like, oh, this One Life Group, that's gotta hold on to that guy.
Yeah.
the shit you can part with and the shit you can't. It's always funny when you find yourself in that position, right?
Yeah. So Standards Record Store on Instagram. And people are they're gonna follow you. They're gonna reach out to you, and and you'll come up with some stuff. And,
I mean, I think the bottom line for me, like, whatever sales I make, obviously that's appreciated. But here's the thing, and this is something that I was actually talking to a two artist friend who's obviously out of work right now. He's like, people have short fucking memories. People have short fucking attention spans, and once you lose them, they're lost. And all we're doing any business when society is functioning is like get their attention. It's the fucking corniest shit in the world, but build your brand,
sure.
The actual fucking dollar I get from you is not important, but the fact that you know of me and that you know of me as a place of, good with a good reputation, that matters great. So it's like, even if it's not like financially, like I said, I don't have a whole lot coming in. So I understand that I don't have a whole lot of inventory to be sold, but just like, let me stay on people's minds. When shit gets opened up, I want to hit the ground running. That's the goal for me. I don't want to be like, fuck, I've been, playing fucking Nintendo for 2 months. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Like, no, I want to be a well-oiled machine. I want to be on people's minds. And that's what I can hope for out of all this is that, that we're still in game zones. We're still at our fighting weight, so to speak.
Yeah.
So don't you forget about me, that kind of situation. That's on my mind. So yeah, please everyone, smash that follow, hit that notification bell. I don't know if there's a notification bell on Instagram. I'm just talking shit at this point. But yeah, that's probably the best way to go.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be one of my first trips when this thing opens up. I can't wait to get back up there.
Hopefully I won't be here. Hopefully I'll be at the fucking outlets and at the malls.
That's right. But
crying.
I got no problem buying records from your buddy.
So, yeah, that's the goal.
So, yeah, man. All right, Colin. Well, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right. You have a great day.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye. All right. Daniel, thanks for helping me out with this one. I really appreciate it. And,
no problem. One thing I got to say about standards real quick that I forgot to say as we were leading to talk about it. If you see that they have something good and they post it on their Instagram, go get it right away because they're thirsty around there or hungry around there. I can't remember what he said, but I hit him up like, "Hey, do you still have that record?" Like, and it was like 20 minutes after he posted, he goes, "Nah, man, they're hungry around here."
Yeah, don't send him a message saying, "Can you hold that for me?"
Yeah,
you know. But yeah, I think that I've enjoyed doing this pod, and I learned something about all these businesses, and just talking to the owners behind them made me like them and want to support them even more. So I would ask that if you live in San Diego or the area, that you support these businesses and any business that means something to you. I'm not choosing the list of what you should support. I'm saying that these are businesses that mean something to me, and I hope that people support them. But you need to support the businesses that you love and care about. And if you're not from here, of course, no matter where you're from, think about that. Try to support, try to help people out, try to be there for your friends. A lot of people are lonely right now. A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are having financial hardships. Just try to be the best person you can, and and be there for people, and small acts of kindness go a long way, and they make you feel better. Have you ever been a dick to someone and felt good about it, like a couple hours later? It's better to be kind. So spread that love around right now. Daniel, I'll let you know.
I think this is really cool that you did this, and I think it's really cool that people will care to listen to it and act upon it, because there are good people out there, and especially good people that listen to this. And I think it was really cool of Drew to come on and talk about what it actually is to have had what we're all scared of getting right now.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, I mean, that gave a lot of perspective, and so I hope that people enjoy that, and hopefully it, you learn something from it, and it was, I think it's brave for him to come on and talk about this stuff. Like, he did a really, really good job. And everyone coming on here, I know that this is a weird medium to get used to, but I appreciate all the help and support.
Yeah. Well, respect to you, and respect to all small business owners out there that are struggling through this. Hopefully everyone comes out on the other side ready to win.
Yeah, respect to you, Daniel. And also, can you give out the URL of the place that you work as well, Daniel?
Super7.com. The thing that's been really cool about this is our physical retail division that I head up. We have some hourly employees and stuff, and they've completely been displaced to not be able to work. But the great thing is we're owned by a punk guy named Brian, and he is paying everybody's what they would normally get on an hourly check each paycheck, even though they're not able to work. And I'm very proud to be associated with this company.
Cool. All right, guys. Thank you for listening, and we will talk to you soon. Take it out, Daniel.
I don't want to catch you on a fucking phone in a record store, or you're fucking dead.
Dead.